At 02:47 a.m. local time, alarms scream across the Tikhoretsk command center, tearing through the pre-dawn silence. A single hostile signature is slicing through their airspace, a Ukrainian drone flying dangerously low and fast. This is the moment the S-400 crew has trained for. The battery commander's voice is cold steel. Engage. A 48N6 missile, a $1.5 million testament to Russian air power, ignites the night sky. The drone isn't just hit, it's vaporized in a shower of burning metal and circuits that rains down into the Kuban River. Inside the command bunker, the suffocating tension shatters into confident smiles. A textbook intercept, a job well done. The perimeter is secure. But their celebration is built on a fatal illusion. The successful kill they just logged was not a victory. It was the trigger for a trap. This hair-trigger readiness was born 3 weeks ago when Trump-brokered peace talks collapsed in a storm of failed diplomacy. With the diplomatic off-ramp closed, Putin chose overwhelming force. He ordered the creation of a storm of steel, a final decisive offensive designed to crush Ukrainian resistance. This depot at Tikhoretsk was Hamid's heart, a massive logistics hub packed with 2,000 tons of Iskander ballistic missiles and 19,000 North Korean-supplied drones, all staged for the signal to attack. So as the Russian crew logs their kill, they have no idea that their own missiles' deafening roar provided the perfect acoustic cover for Ukraine's real weapon. A 12-man HUR Ghost team, now locked into position in the swampy darkness, is preparing to pull the plug on the entire operation. At 02:55 a.m., with the Russians still basking in the glow of their successful intercept, the 12-man team melts back into the swamp. Their transport solution alone is a case study in advanced materials science, 3 30-pound nanocarbon rafts. Think of these less as boats and more like military-grade Formula One chassis, incredibly light, structurally rigid, and coated in radar-absorbent materials designed to move with almost zero thermal or acoustic signature. Their loadout is a perfect fusion of digital warfare and raw kinetic power. 4 FGM-148 Javelin missiles, each a dedicated bunker buster, and 6 custom-built FPV drones. But the real genius, the proprietary tech that makes this whole operation possible, lies in how these drones are controlled. They aren't guided by radio frequency, which in a modern electronic warfare environment is like trying to run your entire enterprise on unsecured public Wi-Fi. It's begging to be jammed, spoofed, or hacked. Instead, each drone is physically hardwired to its operator by a 5-mile-long, 9-micron-thick fiber-optic cable. This isn't a wireless network, it's a dedicated closed-loop system. It's like giving each drone its own dedicated Google Fiber connection directly to the operator's brain, providing a zero-latency 1.5 gigabit video feed. It is physically impossible to intercept, hack, or jam. You can't disrupt a signal that exists only as light inside a glass thread. The team sets up. The first FPV drone whirs to life, its rotors cutting silently through the dense, humid air. It lifts off, hugging the surface of the Kuban River at just 5 feet altitude. Then its onboard AI module kicks in, broadcasting a complex web of emulated radar returns and decoy signals. On the Russian network, a single low-value drone suddenly multiplies into a swarm of high-priority threats. The first wave, a hostile takeover bid for the S-400's attention, is now live. The only question is, will the Russians bankrupt their missile inventory, falling for the bluff? At 3 a.m., the Russian S-400 battery is facing a digital nightmare. This system, one of the most sophisticated air defense platforms on Earth, is only as smart as the data it receives, and right now, it's being fed a stream of perfectly crafted disinformation. On the 92N6 Gravestone radar display, the Ghost Swarm appears as a full-scale invasion force. The Russian commander, faced with what looks like an imminent, overwhelming attack on a strategic asset, makes a decision. It isn't a calculated military tactic, it's a high-stakes margin call, a desperate move to cover a position he can't afford to lose. Engage all primary targets. Fire! 6 more 48N6 missiles, each costing $1.5 million, roar into the sky. A $9 million expenditure authorized in seconds. The return on that investment? 2 of the real FPV drones are successfully destroyed. A tactical victory that is a strategic catastrophe. Their expensive hardware is also struggling with a massive environmental bug. The dense river fog is playing havoc with the S-400's Doppler filtering algorithms. Think of it like the advanced noise cancellation on a pair of high-end Sony headphones suddenly trying to process a live tornado. The system becomes overwhelmed, its processors struggling to distinguish the faint radar returns of the drones from the massive signal clutter of the fog. It sees ghosts everywhere. On the ground, their situation is even worse. Patrol vehicles dispatched to intercept the launch point find their high-horsepower engines useless. Their response time is throttled down from broadband to dial-up speeds by the one thing their advanced tech can't defeat: thick, unforgiving Cuban mud. The element of surprise is gone. Russia's entire defense network is on high alert. But in the process, Ukraine has baited them into burning through $9 million of their most advanced inventory. It was a perfect trade. Russia had lost a fortune, while Ukraine had only sacrificed 2 pawns from the board. At 03:05 a.m., with Russia's entire network now on high alert and actively hunting them, a direct attack is suicide, so Ukraine opts for a software update instead. The HUR team deploys their ace in the hole, 3 GPS beacons, each no bigger than a deck of cards. Think of them as the military equivalent of an Apple AirTag, but instead of helping you find your keys, they're designed for one purpose: to scream "I am here" with perfect, unwavering digital precision. One by one, they are placed in the open, turning the swampy, featureless terrain into a digitally mapped kill zone. This move completely flips the script. The fog is no longer a problem for Ukraine. It is the ultimate camouflage, a physical cloaking device that allows their Javelin team to operate with complete invisibility. The Russians take the bait again. The S-400, in its blind panic, detects the new powerful signals. The system classifies them as high-priority command units and fires again, this time chasing the beacons like a dog chasing a laser pointer. Another multi-million-dollar missile is wasted, trying to destroy a tiny electronic marker that costs less than a good dinner. And in that exact moment of distraction, the first Javelin is shouldered. The target isn't the main depot, not yet. It's the Russian command and control vehicle, the mobile nerve center coordinating the local defense. The Javelin's command launch unit locks onto the vehicle's heat signature through a momentary gap in the fog. Its intelligence isn't just about hitting a target. It's like giving a missile the same target recognition AI that powers a Google Pixel's camera, capable of identifying and tracking a specific object in a cluttered environment. The launch is a near-silent hiss, a soft pop that is swallowed by the swamp. The missile shoots up, executing a top attack profile, then slams down through the vehicle's thinnest armor. The nerve center of the local Russian defense is turned into a twisted wreck of burning metal. They had just won the first exchange with pure intellect, but in doing so, they gave the arriving Spetsnaz a glowing breadcrumb trail leading right back to their hiding spot. At 03:10 a.m., the Javelin strike was a flawless execution, but in the world of high-stakes operations, every action leaves a data trail, and the problem with a physical connection, like a fiber optic cable, is that it leaves a physical trace. A 10-man Spetsnaz patrol sweeping the area finds it, a single 0.009mm fiber optic strand snagged in the mud near the riverbank. For them, it's the digital equivalent of finding a tripwire. Following the line, they close in. The mission and the lives of the 12 operators now hang by a literal thread. Suddenly, a flare ignites the sky above, casting the swamp in an eerie chemical light. It's a network discovery ping in the physical world, instantly revealing the HUR team's general location. The Spetsnaz are now just 500 feet away and closing fast. This is the moment the mission is supposed to fail. A conventional unit would be surrounded and eliminated, but the HUR team responds not like soldiers, but like a world-class cybersecurity team patching a zero-day exploit in real time. Their countermove is a brilliant 3-layer defense protocol. First, they deploy a biosmoke grenade. This isn't just a visual screen. This is a thermal cloaking device that absorbs and scrambles heat signatures, making them invisible to the Spetsnaz's advanced thermal imagers. It's the real-world equivalent of activating an advanced VPN that also masks your device's heat output. Second, an operator tosses out a decoy cable, a thin nylon wire. leading away from their position and into a deep patch of mud. It's a classic honeypot, an irresistible piece of bait for an enemy following a physical line. Finally, they trigger the self-destruct on a spare FPV drone. The sharp crack of the 2-pound charge isn't meant to be lethal. It's a sensory denial of service attack designed to overload the Spetsnaz hearing and focus their attention on the wrong vector. The combination works perfectly. The Spetsnaz, thermally blinded by the smoke and deafened by the blast, follow the decoy cable right into the thickest part of the swamp, sinking to their knees in vicious mud. They had survived. Now they had seconds to finish the job. At 03:15 a.m., the Spetsnaz are neutralized, stuck in a swampy firewall of their own making. The biosmoke continues to degrade the S-400's targeting resolution. This isn't just a window of opportunity, it's a full-blown system vulnerability, and the URR team is about to execute the final payload. The order is given. The remaining 4 FPV drones lift off in perfect synchronized silence, their fiber optic tethers unspooling behind them. Simultaneously, the 3 remaining Javelins are shouldered. This is the ace up their sleeve, a multi-layered hybrid attack vector. It's the same principle that makes a combined hardware and software exploit so devastating. The Javelins are the brute force attack. Their tandem charge warheads, capable of punching through over 30 inches of reinforced concrete, are aimed at the main ammunition bunkers. This is the kinetic equivalent of a database deleting SQL injection aimed at the core data stores. Meanwhile, the FPV drones are the surgical strike. Their target, the S-400's vulnerable gravestone radar arrays. Think of this as a precision attack that doesn't just crash a server, but physically fries the motherboard, ensuring it can never be rebooted. The launches are a symphony of controlled violence. 3 near-silent hisses as the Javelins arc skyward, their onboard processors running targeting algorithms that would make the AI in a Google self-driving car look basic. Seconds later, the 4 drones accelerate to over 100 miles per hour, their operators guiding them via a flawless zero-latency fiber-optic video feed. The Russians are completely blind. Their elite troops are stuck in the mud, their billion-dollar radar is choked by smoke and fog, and their entire defense network is about to suffer a catastrophic system-wide failure. The countdown to 0 has begun. At 03:16 a.m., 3 Javelins, their onboard processors having already calculated the perfect top-down attack trajectory to defeat hardened bunkers, adjust their control fins and dive. This is the fire-and-forget autonomy of a Tesla on autopilot, but instead of navigating traffic, it's navigating to a precise set of GPS coordinates on a reinforced concrete roof. Simultaneously, the 4 FPV drones scream towards their own targets, the S-400's radar arrays. This is a surgical strike designed to permanently brick the system's motherboard. The first Javelin warhead strikes the main Iskander missile bunker with the focused energy of a shaped charge. It doesn't just hit the target, it executes a flawless command to breach the system's primary firewall. Impact. What happens next isn't chaos, it's physics. The Javelin's tandem warhead has a feature that makes it devastatingly effective, a programmed 1.1-second detonation delay. That tiny delay is the entire key. The first charge blows a hole in the concrete, and the main warhead flies through that hole before exploding inside the bunker. The result is that the fortress is instantaneously turned into a pressure cooker. The blast wave, with nowhere to escape, reflects off the interior walls, amplifying its own destructive energy in a phenomenon called reflected overpressure. It's a brutal lesson in thermodynamics. This pressure wave is what causes the real damage. It doesn't just knock things over, it causes catastrophic hardware failure on a massive scale. The reinforced concrete support columns, the building's skeletal chassis, snap like toothpicks. The roof collapses, swallowing the entire structure from the inside out. And then come the secondary effects, a cascading system failure. The 2,000 tons of munitions ignite, triggering a chain reaction that engulfs the depot's 19,000 drones in a fiery blast. Next to them, a multi-million-dollar Krasuka 4 electronic warfare system, a piece of hardware as complex as a Google server farm, has its delicate circuitry flash-cooked into silicon slag. It's a complete and total system wipe. At 03:18 a.m., On the ground, the Russian response isn't a military operation. It's a clumsy corporate damage control effort. Spetsnaz and FSB units swarm the area. Their primary mission, not to rescue, but to enforce a total information blackout. Sirens blare through the night, a desperate attempt to create the illusion of control. But you can't hide a crater the size of a football field. The immediate human cost is devastating. 25 high-ranking Russian officers, the entire local command and logistics brain trust are permanently removed from the network. A few hours later, the digital receipt for the operation comes in. NASA's firm satellite, a publicly available tool for tracking global fires, registers a thermal anomaly at the depot's exact coordinates, a heat signature so massive it's visible from low Earth orbit. The data is undeniable, public, and permanent. Ukraine had just liquidated one of Russia's most valuable strategic assets. The explosion at Tikhoretsk didn't just create a crater, it triggered a complete, system-wide supply chain collapse. With 25 of its key logistics officers gone, the depot's operational brain simply ceased to exist. Phones went unanswered, encrypted networks fell silent, and the system's core operating system effectively crashed. The first casualty of this digital silence was Russia's artillery across the entire Donbass front. Thousands of guns, the primary end users of this supply chain, suddenly found their ammunition requests timing out. Convoys of trucks sat idle in staging areas, waiting for orders that would never arrive. Russia's next-day delivery service for the front lines had just been permanently canceled. The ripple effect reached all the way back to the Kremlin, where the psychological impact was like a catastrophic stock market crash. Putin's storm of steel had been downgraded to a minor drizzle before it even began. And so, with 12 operators, 6 FPV drones, and 4 javelins, Ukraine executed the most successful leverage buyout in modern military history. The final math is a brutal lesson in ROI. An operational cost of less than $1 million successfully neutralized a billion-dollar fortress and derailed a multi-billion-dollar offensive. You don't need a Wall Street hedge fund to see the genius in that trade. It proved that in the 21st century, the winner isn't the side with the most expensive hardware, but the side that uses cheaper, smarter tech to exploit the enemy's most critical vulnerabilities. So, what's the next high-value, low-tech target for a Swamp Ninja operation? Drop your strategic analysis in the comments below. Bye for now.